Makeoffer.com.
Buy, sell, makeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition of the program. We invite you to join us right here toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's free like freedom, 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We're going to go to your phone calls, but I do want to finish out this video at the very least first before we jump into your thoughts, just because it's not very long, and last thing I want to do is get caught up and never actually have the chance to finish it. So we're going to do that next.
You don't need money to do business on Simbi. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you can trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy. Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services they've got there. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. You get an account at Simbi, take a look around, post your services, simbi.com. And I want to mention, I just spoke with Carlos from Simbi on Friday, and he said there was a huge spike in people using Simbi that corresponded with the beginning of their ads here on Free Talk Live. So thank you, everyone who's gone over there and begun doing business on Simbi.
Well, don't they give you a little bit to start with?
Yeah,
so you don't really have to, there's no real risk there, right? You can
there
just try it
isn't,
out.
really. I mean, whatever talent you might have, whatever odd thing that you might be able to do that you can sort of give someone over the internet advice, I'll this one girl that I saw was offering her services of returning any text that you sent her with, I have a boyfriend. She just text back, I have a boyfriend. And she was doing that for one Simbi. I mean, the fact is you can do anything. I suppose somebody out there wants a text from this young lady that's says that she has a boyfriend. I don't know. I suppose it's clever. Get out of here. simbi.com. There's plenty more things like accounting services and video production and website marketing and all kinds of things. simbi.com.
All right, so we're going to go to your calls and thoughts here. Mark, I know you had a story you wanted to tell. It was about a training of some sort. Where was this happening again, where there was a cap gun involved? What was it, some sort of police training?
What I was talking about was when I was young, I remember that
Before prison?
Very young.
Okay.
Yes, it's a child.
Okay.
And, there was a police training that came on the television, and you watched what was on the 5 channels that were available back then.
This is the 70s.
It's the 80s.
Okay.
And what it was is that they were going to show you what police training was about, police training video. And the idea is, how can you score? So in one portion of this police training video, a man's walking up to you, and you're, you can say, stop, stop, stop. And you're supposed to, you can pull, or you can fire, or you can not unholster or whatever. And you get points based on whatever it is you do. And this guy's pulling something out of his his jacket pocket or something like that. As he gets up, you slowly see him hold up a card. He pulls something quickly out of his jacket. It's a card that says, "I'm deaf." And I guess this would be something that a deaf person would carry around, maybe in the 1980s. I don't know if this is done now.
Okay.
But it's supposed to show that you don't have all the information all of the time as an officer.
True.
And I didn't pull the trigger on it, but I did pull the weapon. Now, you would think that a person would react when the weapon was pulled, right? Like, maybe the deaf person can see a gun, put up their hands or whatever. But anyway, it was just supposed to show in the training how that was. And so what that says to me is that police departments, at least in the 1980s, were training officers not to shoot somebody just because they reached into a pocket.
That would seem to be the more humane approach, but these days they know they can get away with just shooting somebody just in the streets for whatever reason. All they have to do is claim that they were scared, which is what happened in this case. The cop who blasts away Philando Castile with 7 shots or something like that, point blank range in front of his girlfriend and child. The cop got away with it. He was acquitted of all the manslaughter charges that were brought against him.
The civil case against the town or the city will probably not go so well for them. But, nonetheless, that's not I don't imagine that makes anybody feel real good right now. I can imagine that there are people out there that feel very threatened that a police officer can just,
for sure,
blast you.
Yep, and this isn't the first time we've had a story like this. It's just the latest iteration of it. So anyway, let's get back into the video here. I've jumped it back just a moment for those of you who are just now tuning in. The murder of Philando Castile by a police officer who's gotten away with it, of course. Let's continue.
You have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then.
Don't pull it out.
Cop's pulling out his gun now.
I'm not pulling it out.
So yeah, as Philando is saying, I'm not pulling it out, the cop is unholstering and pulling somewhat out his gun, and then he proceeds to pull it all the way out and blast away here as Philando says his final words.
Don't pull it out!
I wasn't reaching. He's not moving.
Is that cop yelling at him not to pull it out after he shot him 9 times?
I think he's yelling at the woman at this point because
Get the baby girl out of here!
Stay with me. We got pulled over for.
Now we go into the car where this was, I guess, the original video that came out because it was the lady, his girlfriend, who I don't know if she's live streaming or just recording it. But this video was the original one, came out. Now the dash cam, which is what we've been watching up until this point in the video, it now switches to inside the cab.
We never knew what happened. It's just just some guy bleeding out in his car.
That's right.
Anything could have occurred ahead of time.
You basically get to watch him die.
And we still don't know exactly what happened in this car, but we have a heck of a lot more information than we did.
Or a busted tail light in the back, and the police. He's covered. He killed my friend.
Yep.
He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. He just shot his arm off.
Cop still has the gun completely drawn and at the ready here.
Right, he's standing there with a gun on a dead guy.
We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
Yeah.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license.
He sure did.
Oh
He did.
God.
Before all of this happened, he said license and registration. And then, like seconds before he shoots this guy.
And of course, if you don't get the license and registration, you get charged with disobeying an officer.
Right. This guy's just too chicken-S to have been a cop. He should have never been on the force in the first place.
Please don't tell me he's dead.
He's
Please
dead.
Don't tell me my boyfriend.
He was shot like 9 times.
I think it was 7 times. Yeah.
Like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone.
Yeah.
Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
Get the female passenger out.
Ma'am, exit the car right now with your hands up. You see your hands. Exit now. Keep them up.
So this is how they cover themselves, right? Okay, this is how the covering goes. Now,
we're
they're
gonna get
treating
into
her
that.
like she's dangerous.
Yeah.
All she's done, she went to live streaming. She's not even comforting her boyfriend because liable, like her, like laying on him or whatever, probably get her shot too.
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards.
That's the end of the clip.
Hey, keep walking. Keep walking.
And that's where it ends. More coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. You can weigh in with your thoughts.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments, we see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people, exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the program. You can dial in toll-free. Coming up, we can talk about McDonald's moving towards, apparently in a big way, the idea of automated cashiers. Jonny Ray's got some information about that coming up. It is Ian, Jonny Ray, and Mark in the studio here tonight. Live Sunday edition of the show. Also want to let you know that Free Talk Live is brought to you by Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live. What kind of wallet? It's not the wallet you put in your pocket, unless it's on your phone, in which case I guess you
can put it in your pocket, yeah.
But you can also put Jax on your desktop or laptop, computer, or tablet. Jax is a cross-platform Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency wallet. It can hold Ether and Dash and Rep tokens and many other things.
That's what I love about it is that it just has so many different options.
Yep. JAXX.io is where you can go to download it, or your Google or Apple App Store. It was created by Anthony DeOrio, who is the creator of the Crypto Kit. And he put in shapeshift integration that makes it super easy to exchange between cryptos right from within Jax. They're striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's also easy to back up your wallet and recover your funds. So if something terrible happens to your phone, no big deal if you've got the backup, which should be the first thing you do when you install it. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live at JAXX.io. To the phones, your calls and thoughts, then an update on this Philando Castile case, which, of course, the cop has been found not guilty by a jury very recently. Let's go to Matt in New Mexico. Matt, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey.
Hey.
Good to be on.
Thanks. Go ahead.
I think there's a few problems as usual with any of these situations. It's not always the cop's the bad guy. From the video I saw, which of course was a truncated version of the whole event, but there was a point where he's reaching, the cop says, don't get it, and he's reaching behind his back. And look, you don't know what he's reaching for. I mean, he's probably reaching for his wallet, but the cop gave him confusing directions.
What video, is it the one that his girlfriend recorded where they actually show they show the shooting? Because I didn't know that existed.
I haven't been able to find a video.
Recorded. I haven't watched it in months. So I'm trying to recall it. But,
Is it possible you're because
the officer says things. He's like narrating to some extent, but we don't know what happened in the car. We don't know where he was reaching. We don't know if he was reaching. We just have this.
We don't.
Right.
I think the cop is giving confusing directions. Number one.
That's very common.
Number two, I think it's imperative on anybody who's pulled over in that situation. If there's ever any doubt, just put your hands on the dashboard and just work it out.
I tend to agree with you.
But we don't know that didn't happen at this point, right? Like, it could be that the officer heard it could be that the officer's just like, going into some psychotic binge here. We have no idea.
Well, we do know what the people in the video say. That's what we know. And we know that his girlfriend is saying that he was going for his wallet. So he was making...
Right after being told to go for his wallet.
Right, but to not go for the gun. And so the cop used that as the excuse to think that he was going to go for the gun and blast him away. The girlfriend said he was going for the wallet. Go ahead.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Everybody makes it out like this guy has a racial bias against Philando, when reality is he's probably just not the right guy to be a cop.
Agreed.
He's obviously very regretful after the event. He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like it's a racial thing like it's painted out to be.
I didn't say anything about his race. I haven't even mentioned his race.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned Philando's race here in this circumstance, but I think that, I can see why somebody would see this situation, like, because Philando is a concealed carry permit holder, and concealed carry permit holders commit fewer crimes in the United States than police officers do. They are, if you're going to classify somebody as something, they are the least dangerous folks out there next to nuns. And so he's a concealed carry permit holder, a family man, and a guy who works hard. And I can see why a black person might say to themselves, he was doing everything that he could to walk the line and do what he's supposed to do, and some cop freaks out and plugs him 4 times in front of his kid. Do you see?
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly the cop was not equipped, I don't think, to be in that position, to be doing that job.
Yep.
He was very short on the trigger. I mean, who's to say? I'm not a cop, never been one. You got 2 people in a car. You don't know what their intentions are.
No, but you do know whether or not someone has a gun in their hand. I mean, it wasn't dark. It was maybe getting down into the evening hours, so it was not a dark situation. He couldn't claim that he wasn't able to see the man's hand or gun or whatever. And he shot this guy ostensibly without ever having seen him lay a hand on that gun.
And like you said, if you don't have the
moving in that direction from what the cop
that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
The cop wasn't realizing how confusing his directions were, which is a problem.
Yeah, that's common, where the police will be like, "Get on the ground, put your hands up," at the same time. Like you'll have 2 different cops telling you the opposite things, and you're like, "What do I do? Do I get shot?"
And then you're shot and dead because the victim, the citizen, is expected to be perfect and well trained, and the cop gets every bit of license to do everything. The person who received ostensibly 2 years of criminal justice training gets all kinds of leeway because, well, he might have been scared if he walked up to a window there and saw 2 people, or whatever. I mean, if you don't have the minerals to walk up to a car because you might get hurt, and you might. If you don't have them, you should have never signed up for police academy.
So I did just pull up the video, and I'm not going to play it on the air because I suspect it is uncensored. But the video of Philando's girlfriend, the full length, what is claimed to be the full length version. So CNN shows you the point at which it starts in the car. That CNN cuts as soon as they take her out of the car. The video then then goes on for another 8 minutes or so after that. You can watch as the police are on the side. Multiple police are on the sidewalk there. Backup had arrived at this point. Multiple cops have drawn down on this lady as she's exiting the car. You can see her kind of walking towards them with their guns trained on her. And then later it appears as though they put her in the back of what appears to be a cruiser. You can see the lights, the blue and red lights are flashing, and she is narrating something here. I presume she's quite upset, and so that's why I'm saying I'm not going to just sight unheard play this audio on the air, but I will link to this on our Facebook, our Twitter, so you can actually watch the full video. But the video does, Matt, pick up right in the car after he's been shot, so you don't actually get to see from her perspective what anybody's doing in the car before the actual shooting. So I'm thinking maybe you're confusing this with another police shooting, which, of course, there are plenty of them, and it's easy to get lost and confused on it. I appreciate your opinions. Anything else you want to share tonight?
Yeah, I just think what really disturbs me about all this anti-police rhetoric is that you only see, from point A to point B of the encounter, and people draw their conclusions based entirely on a selection of the event that they're exposed to. They do not know what happened before or after and what led up to whatever it was, and they conclude guilt based on that alone. And then there's a narrative.
Well, that doesn't apply to this case, right?
All white cops are against black people.
Well, first of all, we haven't mentioned anything about the color of any of the participants in this. And so what you're saying, you're just making a general comment of your opinion about similar cases, because this case you get to see from beginning to end everything that happens. You don't see in the cab of the car everything that happens, but you get to see and hear absolutely everything, the full context of what happens here.
Presumably, I mean, what could be said here is that Philando could have been up on 2 wheels, right, and doing whoop-de-woos out the window, right? Like, whoa, he could have been doing anything. I don't think that's the circumstance here, because the cop certainly doesn't mention that. There are instances where
it doesn't look like he's driving a hoopty. He appears to be driving like a Mercury 4-door or something
where videos
like that.
will jump to the exciting part. But one thing,
can I make one
Matt,
more comment?
well, before we go, Matt, I want to make sure that, because you said that, like, we don't get all the information, and this is just one excerpt of this officer's life and those sorts of things. And I just want to point out that's kind of what the criminal justice system is. The criminal justice system will take a moment of one's life, and we don't get held to the same standards police do. They don't give this kind of rhetoric when an individual, a citizen like you and I, get arrested. The newspaper is just going to report this. Wham, you did this. Matt, you did this. Blam, blam, and you're in jail, sitting and waiting for a trial for 3 years. Like, you do agree that police are a class of citizen that gets far more deference than regular folks, right?
Matt?
I think
We'll let you think
there
about it
should
here.
be-
Hang on. We'll bring you back here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Get started at Dash.org. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. Join Dash and help us create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org and get your own Dash wallet today. That's Dash.org.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. You know, as part of Hollywood for a long time, I've seen my fair share of celebrities get in trouble with the IRS. Well, there's one name I trust, the Tax Defense Group. They're the most trusted name in tax. So if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you really need to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. Ignoring the IRS is not the solution. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, seize your home or business. But the Tax Defense Group could put a stop to all of that and tailor a program that would reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. You gotta love that. So don't just take my word for it. Call them. Find out for yourself. They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And they're open 24 hours a day because they know that tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now for your free and confidential tax analysis from the most trusted name in tax. Call 800-361-6907. 800-361-6907.
Allison Fry and Peter Hartman are a long-term couple. They've been trying out an open relationship that frees them to emotionally burden and exhaust other people.
We're both grown-ups. We both trust each other. It just seemed like the right time to open ourselves up to meeting other people and barraging them with our crippling emotional neediness.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still want to vent to Allison about all the anxieties I have at the office until she wishes I would just shut the up. But sometimes you just get the urge to sap the life out of a different woman for a change.
The flexible arrangement has allowed Fry and Hartman to participate in a variety of tiresome and psychologically draining one-off encounters with partners ranging from close acquaintances to total strangers.
Of course, there was a time when I couldn't imagine saddling anyone but Peter with my extensive emotional baggage and trust issues, but now that we've tried it...
The best part is, when we're back together, all we really want to do is drain the living out of each other.
This is the Onion News Network.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us right here. Our number here on this live Sunday edition is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. You can Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We're going to go back into your phone calls and thoughts. I do want to let you know that you can watch the show via our YouTube feed. You go to cam.freetalklive.com. That'll show you during our live show hours, which are 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time, 7 nights a week. You can watch us on our studio cams, which we got 2 of them. That is free, like every other feature on our website. The other talk show hosts in this business, they like to charge you for things like webcams and archives on their sites. Ours completely free, so go and enjoy it. cam.freetalklive.com. You can also just click right into our YouTube channel at youtube.freetalklive.com, and that'll show you all of, I don't know, however many hundreds of YouTube videos we have now at this point. I think we've been doing it for a couple of years, at least 2 or 3 years maybe, so we probably have several hundred over at youtube.freetalklive.com. We go back to Matt in New Mexico. Now, Mark, you had asked Matt a question right before we went to break, and it was, sort of about the deferential treatment that it seems like the police get, from, the police. And you'd asked Matt some sort of question about, could he acknowledge that that's true?
Right, and
and Matt never really had a chance to answer that.
He did not have a chance to answer it, but Matt, I'm going to set this up a little bit for you. Now, if somebody's arrested, the chances of them making it to trial are about 1/3 of 1%. Most people take a plea or they have the charges dropped. Of the people who make it to trial, one would presume many of them are not guilty because they'd had the cojones to take it all the way to trial, which very, very few people do. Of the people that take it to trial for felonies, I don't know of any police officers convicted of misdemeanors in life, but people who take it to trial for felonies, about 33% are found not guilty, and about 2/3 are found guilty. And that's normal people, felonies. Now, I have never been able to find exactly what the percentage is of police officers that make it to trial, and I'm, guessing that you have to have a lot of evidence to take a police officer to trial. But of the percentage of them, the best I've been able to find is, quote unquote, only 20% of officers arrested are ever convicted of murder or manslaughter. Now, that's not all felonies. It's the best I can get. So what I hear there is about 1/5 of officers are found guilty and 4/5 are found innocent. It's a huge disparity at trial compared to the average folks and officers. And, just having that information there, and then thinking about this particular mental picture. If you or I were walking down the street, somebody reaches into their pocket, we come to the conclusion because they're doing that they're going for a weapon. We don't see a weapon. We pull a gun on them and we shoot them 4 times. How do you think our manslaughter trial is going to go?
Matt, are you still with us?
Hypothetical situation. I don't know.
You don't know because you know, right? Like, you don't want to give up an inch in this argument. And that's what people who are, you're finding new information out. Your brain is stretching, right? Do you think the police officers are treated the way that you would be treated at trial? Before trial?
But listen, you're not presenting a factual argument. You're presenting a hypothetical that's irrelevant because it's not going to happen.
Fine, then ignore the hypothetical. Do you think police officers are treated through the judicial system the way you would be? Do you think you would get the same deference and the same treatment that they do?
No, and of course not. And I think that's fair.
You think it's fair?
You think it's fair that police are treated differently? That police are treated with more respect, more deference?
Yes, because their job is different. Their position in that encounter is different. They are in a position of threat to. They are under threat when they do their job. I am not under threat when I'm walking around generally.
Well, so one of the things that the badge, what you're told is that the rights of the citizenry are taken and given to the police officer, the rights of protection. But one can't give rights that one doesn't have. And if you don't believe that you could get away with shooting somebody before you saw a gun, then do you think a police officer should be able to get away with shooting somebody before they see a gun?
No.
There.
Okay.
That's what I think.
He did get away with it.
I think this officer is guilty of manslaughter. I don't think he's guilty of murder. I don't think sending him to prison for manslaughter is going to do any particularly great thing for America or for this family or whatever. You can believe the taxpayers of the city of Minneapolis are going to get skinned over this because the Minneapolis Police Department hired a completely incompetent boob who reacted terribly and cost the life of one of their citizens.
Hey, Matt, thanks for your call tonight. I do appreciate the discussion and your time. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
It reminds me, this conversation, it reminds me of what the great Will Grigg used to talk about often, the who-whom dichotomy. And he would explain it better, but he was always talking about the communists, and the philosophy was that there was no behavior that a human the behavior of someone could not, any kind of specific behavior could not be condemned, because if you were a political apparatchik or a agent of the state, then you were one of the protected class, and you could do things, you could kill or murder or steal.
Yep.
But if you were a peasant, you could not. And that's what
it's always been that way.
You get from the state is that people's actions are not as important, and it just contributes to chaos, because you're not thinking about your actions. It's about who you are allows you to do this or that.
It is chaos, but it's got the sort of the patina of control over it, right? It's got this. They want you to believe that it would be a lot worse if it weren't for the thin blue line out there keeping everybody safe from the rampaging criminals that would be otherwise all over us if it weren't for these police officers. So if you have to break a few eggs in order to make the omelet of a mostly peaceful society, they would have you believe that they are doing that is their role. That every now and then they're going to screw it up, but if it weren't for them, Johnny Ray, that we would be living in true chaos. But what you're saying is that this is chaos, but it has the illusion of something else.
One of the things that I think libertarianism is really good on is the equality of people in what they're allowed to do to each other.
Mm-hmm. Badges should not grant extra rights.
Right.
But they do.
Right. You can't. Murder is never right, and theft is never right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people vote for it.
It's correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what to me is most telling here is that people are running to defend the paid, trained government employee, and they expect every possible perfect action from the, ignorant. I use the term ignorant just to mean that how am I supposed to know how to react at a police stop? They didn't teach me this stuff in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they said, hey, make sure you keep your hands at 10 and 2. I had to learn this. Right. I had to learn this stuff by looking on the internet. I do keep my hands at 10 and 2 because I don't want to be shot by some cop who says, well, he said the word firearm and right? I mean, like the police officer says, license and registration, here's the word firearm, and shoots the guy.
Yeah.
That's the scenario here. And, this officer, my understanding, has lost his job. Now, maybe he'll get it back because he's been found
not guilty.
Not guilty or whatever. I don't know the answer to that, but this guy seems highly unqualified. Now, if somebody makes this grave of an error, isn't there some responsibility of the municipality here? Somebody hired this guy, and nobody wants to take sort of any responsibility about it. It's all like it's all like, well, this is a tragic mistake. Well, yeah, it's a tragic mistake. But if it was a tragic mistake that was made by you or I,
You'd pay the price.
We'd be in jail right now. We'd be in prison. And
yeah, is this lady ever going to see a payment from this cop? No.
I suspect that. Not from the cop, no. Yeah. But I suspect that they'll probably see a payment of some sort.
Maybe.
Because this thing's gone. She had the forethought to begin live streaming.
Yep.
And
smart move.
Yeah, she had the video. Now, I mean, she didn't get to spend the last moments touching her loved one, but she probably would have been shot to death.
Yeah, she'd have been shot.
She'd have been shot to death by that lunatic who was like out there crying, holding a gun on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't handle
shouting
this.
like a madman.
Yeah, it was really weird. And I mean, it's obviously an emotional situation, but it shouldn't have been.
The toll-free number tonight allowing you to join us here on the radio live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. You can call in at 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733, or Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship-free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from the White Mountains in the Shire, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, June 25th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,606. Antiwar.com reports the Pentagon is facing a flurry of inquiries from high-ranking senators from both parties following an Associated Press story that revealed that U.S. soldiers were involved in the interrogation of detainees at sites in Yemen where torture of detainees was widespread. The AP article quoted Pentagon officials confirming that this was the case, but claiming that the U.S. soldiers weren't directly involved in the torture or even necessarily personally aware of the fact that the detainees were tortured by UAE forces ahead of their interrogation by Americans. Senators were quick to point out that doesn't make the U.S. involvement any more legal, with Senators John McCain and Jack Reed both calling the report deeply disturbing and urging Defense Secretary James Mattis to investigate the matter to provide more details. Senator Patrick Leahy noted that beyond the legal question of the Pentagon's involvement, the fact that the torturers were from the United Arab Emirates could mean that the continued provisions of U.S. support for them would violate a law forbidding funding to known human rights violators. Senator Ron Wyden said he was particularly troubled by the Pentagon's legalistic response to the incident, saying that the bar for the United States is higher than torture is okay if we don't see it.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports the American Civil Liberties Union asked a federal judge on Saturday to expand an order that temporarily blocks the deportation of 114 Iraqis in Michigan to cover Iraqis nationwide. The advocacy group filed an amended complaint seeking to keep the Immigration and Customs Enforcement from deporting Iraqis from anywhere in the United States while a federal judge weighs the case of the Iraqis in Michigan. U.S. District Judge Mark Goldsmith on Thursday ordered a stay in the Michigan Iraqis' deportation for at least 2 weeks while he decides whether he has jurisdiction. The ACLU, which has sued to block the Michigan deportations, asked Goldsmith to rule by Monday on expanding his order to cover more than 1,400 Iraqis facing expulsion across the United States. The immigration agency has indicated it might start those deportations as soon as Tuesday, according to the ACLU. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement spokeswoman Jillian Christensen said the agency was reviewing the judge's order. She said via email, the agency intends to comply with the terms of the order while determining the appropriate next steps. The DOJ did not respond to a request for comment. The ACLU said in its filing that those being deported could face persecution or torture because many were Chaldean Catholics or Iraqi Kurds, and that both groups were recognized as targets of ill treatment in Iraq. The ACLU also filed a motion asking the judge to extend his order nationwide to ensure that people who could face persecution, torture, or death in Iraq are not deported.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
UPI reports Google announced it will no longer scan the contents of Gmail messages in order to tailor advertising to customers. The tech company announced the change on Friday in a blog post. It will go into effect later in the year. Google's G Suite email for business already does not scan message content to generate ads, but the free Gmail is now going to follow suit. Instead, ads will be generated based on details taken from other sources, including YouTube videos that the user watches. Alphabet announced that Google still plans to scan emails in order to gather information, not to be used in targeted advertising. A blog post said G Suite customers and free consumer Gmail users can remain confident that Google will keep privacy and security paramount as we continue to innovate. Gmail users can check the settings page to opt out of targeted advertising. Gmail has more than 1.2 billion users worldwide. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Buying a burger might start taking a bite out of your wallet. Meat prices skyrocketed this week after the place that makes the meat revealed that the cow smashing machine is all beefed up.
This machine has beef way up in it. The basher, the meat collector, even the main meat hole, all of it. Lousy with beef.
The cow smashing machine is an integral part of the meat making process, taking whole big cows into one end, with all different meats falling out the other. Supermarket chains warn that unless we start smashing cows again soon, we could face a serious beef shortage. The beef industry is working hard to unclog the cow smasher, but says it could take several days or even weeks to scoop all the beef that's crammed up in there. Until it's fixed, meat-hungry Americans can take solace in the fact that the chicken grinder is working at full capacity, just completely tearing up all those chickens, and the pig machine is porking out hardcore. Up next, bluesmen find a rising trend of their babies done leaving on that their old devil train.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the show. You can dial in toll free, bring up what you want. We're going to talk about the minimum wage and McDonald's possibly moving towards, in a big way, automated cashiers. Jonny Ray's got that story. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Me, Jonny Ray.
And me, Mark.
We will go to your calls and thoughts. You, of course, can take control of the airwaves here. For those of you just tuning in, we have been talking a lot about Philando Castile and the video footage that came out recently from the police cruiser where a man, Philando, was shot to death by a cop, trigger-happy cop who in no way apparently did he see Philando touch a gun, but Philando let him know he had a gun when this was just a regular pullover for a burnout brake light, apparently. Philando informs the officer he has a gun. The officer, within seconds, has shot him multiple times after Philando had gone for his wallet. And his girlfriend witnessed the entire thing, and she said that he was going for his wallet, not his gun. He was in no way apparently even touching his gun, but the cop blasted him away anyway and was now found not guilty by a jury on multiple felony manslaughter counts. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we've got, I believe Brian is on the line, calling us from Chicago. Brian, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight, Brian?
Well, I've been listening to this, and, one of the things I heard that police officer do that really just makes me believe what you've been talking about already, which he should have never had the job. I mean, when you see the film clips of people in the military and they shoot people and those type of things, the training that they go through, the overexcitement should not have been coming from him as much as it should have been coming from the people in the automobile. And that really suggests that the gentleman had no idea to deal with what he was dealing with.
Perhaps so, despite whatever training he's gone through.
When the young lady is doing her streaming there, she's very, very calm. Yes, sir. I won't get my hands near the gun. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like, she's calm. He's screaming and crying, right? And I'm not saying that screaming and crying isn't appropriate in the circumstance when somebody's been shot. Yeah. It's just
wrongfully, especially. Yeah.
Right. It's just that. Maybe you could have done this differently, pal. And I'm not manslaughter is a charge for people who made a terrible mistake, not a charge for people who have intentionally killed people. And I think that that's the most appropriate. I don't know what the punishment should be, but to me, what I clearly saw was manslaughter.
But do you think? When you look at that, or you listen to it, actually, when you listen to everything that's going on there. One, the police officer wasn't very good with his instruction. Number two, he didn't make it clear that, hey, you know what, you need to keep your hands in plain sight. And the third thing that I didn't hear him do is really eloquently, after the guy mentioned the gun, tell him what that means. And that's really what you were talking about earlier. They need to be educated to tell the common man what they're thinking, because they're trained in a whole other way where the civilian public is only trained to make sure that they have a authorization to carry the gun that is approved by the state that they're in, and those type of things. But what we see happening in America right now, I totally support during the campaign what Donald Trump was talking about and how police officers were just being really thrown out there as being chaotic and overbearing, and they're getting shot for a reason. That's what they were saying. And Trump put some realism to the fact that they need to be respected. But what I would say to you is, one time I went through a toll area in Oklahoma. I had a Starbucks cup. I don't know if that's okay to say that, but I had a cup sitting there that had lemonade in it. And I'm going through a toll booth, and the water the ice had kind of melted, and lemonade was kind of, so it looked kind of golden in color. And the next thing you know, a guy comes out of nowhere, a police officer comes out of nowhere and pulls me over and has me out of the car, is searching the car and looking at that cup of melted ice with lemonade. Now, she thought it was liquor, obviously, and it was not. But it goes to the heart of the matter that sometimes, and I think more than not, they actually become opportunists looking for anything, depending on what time of the month it is, and where they're at in the overall everything that they're looking at hitting quotas. It does come down to quotas. They cannot deny that quotas don't play a part in this.
Yeah, I mean, in some departments they do frequently deny having quotas, but that's because
they call them department averages.
Right, they have things like departmental average, which is technically not a quota; it's an average of the amount of arrests that the department has, and then if you're above the average, you're a good little boy, and if you're below the average, you might get punished.
I can totally see. I can totally see why they have quotas at departments, because just about everything's illegal. They can get you. They can pull you over for swerving inside your lane. Right? Like, here's the lane. We've painted lines on it. You've stayed inside of those lines. However, we don't like the way that you stayed inside those lines.
Yeah, sure.
You haven't gone over. You haven't exceeded the speed limit. We're going to pull you over anyway. When you live in a world where you can be pulled over for literally anything, then no wonder they have quotas. Of course they do. These are armed revenue agents, not law enforcement officers any longer.
But what if
peace officers?
What if a lawyer decided to challenge that and say, which I would have done if I had been his lawyer, I would have approached it from maybe a whole other area. I would have said, let's get to the heart of the matter of why he was pulled over in the first place. Was the brake light out? And if it was it just shining on that and illuminating in a different way? Was it weak or whatever it was? But let's talk about what the reasoning was of the quota that caused all of this to happen, because those are the things that we as Americans are getting sick of. It's being these random whatever, just in case we might catch you with something happening to us when we're needing to go do something like work or travel or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So they're
they do the fishing expeditions all the time.
Right, and what did he want his license and registration for? Probably
standard
Probably
procedure.
Not to give him a ticket for the tail light that's out. That's usually what
they're
they call
running a check for warrants.
A fix-it ticket. Right. They're checking for warrants. It's gotten to the point that essentially, pull you over for anything, check for warrants, and see if you've got them, and then let you go on
Sniff
and have
the car,
a nice day.
see if you smell any weed.
And
Sniff the car
that's
for
what
some alcohol.
That's what it comes down to in this circumstance. I can see how the police officer, he's just asked for a license and registration. That could be really threatening for somebody in some car, right? And they could pull a gun and shoot. Of course, they probably wouldn't tell you that I'm a licensed concealed carry firearm permit holder in the state, but whatever. I mean, I get the whole scenario. It's just that, police officers are put in crappy situations because their bosses and their politicians have turned them into armed revenue collection agents rather than peace officers. And, plenty of them are getting hired that are just unqualified.
But they need to get it right, though. They need to make sure that at the end of the day, that they're convicting the right ones and they're letting the other ones go. I mean, there was one in Missouri that happened, and I think they got that absolutely right with the gentleman the boy that they shot, and he was resisting. They were in the car. He pulled the gun in the back seat. And all of those things, and then the boy had a history of all this stuff. I mean, I think they got that one right. I think they got this one wrong, though, because you can just listen to the audio, and there is not a person in that car trying to fight,
there's no threat. No threat whatsoever.
Except
for the cop.
Nothing, no threat at all.
The cop was the only threat in that in that situation. Hey, Brian, good call. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Our toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Paul. He is in South Carolina. Paul, what part of South Carolina are you in tonight?
I'm in upstate, Anderson, South Carolina.
All right, welcome to the show. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, bud. Listening to a couple of things here, it sounds like you've got a bit of a vendetta against the cops.
No, not at all.
I don't feel like I do.
One of the things.
What would make you say that?
Listening to one of the things there, he's asking for the license and registration.
Yeah.
And then the comments going about that, so they can search for warrants. Well, maybe that is true, but also if they're going to write you a ticket for anything, one, they want to make sure you do have a valid. Yeah, they need your ID.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have asked for a license, and I wouldn't say that he shouldn't ask for a license and registration. I just think that traffic stops have turned into fishing expeditions at this point.
We'll continue. Paul, if you want to hang on, we'll bring it back here. You can continue to comment if you have more to say. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live continues. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Be prepared for the next disaster with the Shelter Pod. The Shelter Pod is a large, all-season, heavy-duty, quick-deploy shelter. The Shelter Pod system can be set up in 30 seconds and includes an emergency medical kit, water filter, survival tools, and more. Are you prepared to take care of your family? Do you have everything in one place ready to go? Get it now or enter to win a complete Shelter Pod system at shelterpod.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Sunday edition of the show. You dial in toll free, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's me, Ian.
Johnny Ray.
And Mark.
Back to your phone calls and thoughts. We have Paul on the line in South Carolina. Paul, we've been, as you know, but as our listeners tuning in may not know, we've been talking about the shooting death of Philando Castile, a concealed carry permit holder pulled over for ostensibly having a burnout brake light. Within seconds of being informed that he was carrying concealed, Philando was shot to death by the officer in that situation. Anyway, you were trying to make a point. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get your thoughts out, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about the license and registration and why he was asked for that. Second of all, you hear her, being told to don't reach for the gun or whatever. I have a concealed carry permit also, and it should be concealed. It shouldn't be visible, and it definitely shouldn't be where someone else could reach across a car seat and get their hands on it. So, I mean, we can't see what the cop sees.
That's true.
And prejudging him and saying, he murdered the guy or whatever, that's not fair.
No one here claimed he murdered him.
I did. I said he murdered him.
I say he's guilty of manslaughter. He was not up on murder charges. Right. He's guilty of manslaughter because manslaughter is, it's a negligent act. It's an unintentional negligent act.
But we don't have body cam. We can't see exactly, where was the gun at? Why was it, accessible to her? I mean, the cop did what he did, and if he
wasn't necessarily
there was no testimony entered into the trial that the police officer ever saw a gun, because the man, from what best we can tell, never touched it.
Yeah, the cop was just scared.
And I think
he shot the man to death.
The important thing to point out here is that, like, we give all the deference in the world to the trained police officer and none of it to the ignorant citizen. And if you don't want any deference given to you, then by all means give all the deference to the police officer. But just think, this could have been you or your child, and it would be really a whole different scenario for you.
Well, I have been pulled over and
shot.
No.
Okay.
I was not shot, but I was pulled over.
Me too.
And my registration as well as my handgun was in my console. In the state of South Carolina, I can carry it in the console or the dash if it's not, if I'm not concealed or whatever. And when he asked for license and registration, I immediately told him, I do have a permit, I do have a weapon, but my paperwork is in this console right here as well as my firearm. And if you want to, I'll be glad for, I'll step out of the way. I'll step wherever you want me to. You're welcome to get it yourself. But, making it clear it's there, that is my responsibility.
Why is that your responsibility?
Well, if I don't tell him that it's there and I just open the console and he sees it, I mean...
It depends on the state.
Some states it's a crime to not tell the cops.
Right. Well, in very few states, and South Carolina isn't one of them, is it a crime to not tell them. Now, if asked... You should. I understand why you would tell a police officer, look, my registration's sitting right next to a handgun.
Yep.
I get that that's really a good idea, but we don't know where Philando's gun was. Maybe it was in the glove compartment, and he was just reaching for his wallet for his license and reg. We don't know.
Right, and that's why I can't pass judgment on the cop and say that he committed manslaughter.
You don't see a gun, you don't shoot somebody.
Yeah, man.
If you aren't qualified, if you're not that qualified, you don't belong in a uniform.
Seems pretty obvious.
America,
it's based on every scenario, though. I mean, every scenario.
No one ever calls me, before you go on, no one ever calls me and says, I think you guys are really down on the DMV. I think you guys hate the IRS. No one ever says that. It's always they're defending the police. And I wonder, what kind of social currency does this organization have that is so much greater than every other government bureaucrat?
I just don't think we're given, it's a bad situation that the guy was shot. I agree. Bad situation.
So by an unqualified police officer,
so you
right?
agree
like
that
a person completely unqualified to wear that badge, right?
I'm not saying that.
You shoot somebody before you see a gun, you're a big old wuss. You don't deserve to carry. The man's wearing a bulletproof vest, and he shot a man before he saw a gun. He's a
coward. He's a coward.
He sucks. He's crappy at this.
Just admit it, man.
He should be serving fries or driving a truck or doing something.
You're analyzing the whole thing, but you're basing every situation off of.
We're not talking about other situations.
Here it is.
Hold on, we're only talking about one situation.
Every single situation.
Whether he saw the gun, when the guy's hands disappeared, and he says, "Don't."
Nobody said his hands disappeared.
She says he's reaching for his wallet.
She said he was.
I mean, his hand's obviously not right there where the cop is.
Nothing's obvious.
Don't grab
all that's obvious is what's said in the video. You can't see what happened.
Reach for the gun. So the gun is obviously there somewhere where she could get to it. And after the guy is shot, then the cop is apparently seeing the gun. I mean, we don't have body cam footage.
No,
We
it's
can't
not
see
clear if the
exactly
cop is
what
seeing the
he
gun.
saw.
We do have footage from inside the cab, and I don't see a gun just sitting out there
Right,
somewhere.
there's just a man bleeding out.
I looked through. I did a quick internet search just before I called you, and in one of the photos, it's circled, and it appears that there is a gun sitting on the guy's where his pocket would be, his front pocket would be. You know, don't know if that's it. Why is it visible? I'm just saying. I mean, we don't know everything that happened inside of that vehicle because the camera doesn't roll the entire time. So you don't really know, but
you do
you're
know
passing
what the
judgment.
testimony in the trial was, and Mark has said that this officer never testified that he saw a gun. If the cop never saw a gun, he's got no reason to pull a trigger. You may be able to say the cop had reason because he was scared to draw down. I could see it going that far. Like, okay, cop's uncertain of what he's reaching for. He's reaching for something in his pants. The cop's not sure. He could then probably draw the gun, train it on the man and make it crystal clear that he's fixing to shoot. But in this case, he doesn't do that. He just jumps straight to pulling the trigger. And, anybody who could defend this cop for what he did is just, you're reaching, dude. Thanks for the call tonight, Paul. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. So desperate to defend the police that they will make any excuses that they possibly can. Anything at all.
I see this picture that he's... I
Googled Philando Castile gun on lap.
Yep.
It doesn't look anything like a gun to me.
It's just there's a shape. I couldn't say one way or the other what that shape is. But then again, a gun's not always going to be obvious in its shape. So I don't know what the circumstance is. I'm going to stand by the statement that if you believe a person is pulling a gun, that's fine. I get it. But you can't just run around shooting anybody that you think might be pulling a gun.
No.
You need to have pulled a gun. If they pulled a gun, then we're talking about
There's now a threat against your life.
They're in an entirely different situation.
Right.
If Philando Castile pulled a gun on this officer, then it was a good shoot. But that's not what the testimony in this trial's about. This officer's fired because his superiors believe he's unqualified.
Yeah. If I could see a situation in which shooting would make sense if Philando had said before going for what was ultimately supposed to be his license and registration, if Philando had instead said, "I'm going to kill you," and then started making a motion towards his waistline or whatever, I think then the cop would be more justified in going ahead and pulling a trigger.
Right. Why would he say, "I'm a licensed concealed carry permit holder and I have a gun," if he's then going to shoot an officer?
Exactly. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. You can join us here on the live Sunday edition. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up. Plenty of time for you with your thoughts. Plus, if we get a chance, we'll talk about McDonald's and their plans coming up.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
We use cell phones against our heads every day. But now, a landmark U.S. government study confirms increased health risks from exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The time to protect yourself is now. The solution is Defender Shield. Proudly made in the USA, Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation emitted from cell phones, tablets, and laptops. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. Use discount code DEFENDER for 10% off. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in EMF radiation protection.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same
politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit shiresociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free. Join us on the radio here live Sunday edition. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Bitcoin.com is where you can go to learn about Bitcoin if you're brand new to the amazing decentralized cryptocurrency, the world's first, but certainly not the last. There are dozens and dozens or hundreds and hundreds of competitors to Bitcoin out there, but Bitcoin's still number one, and you can find out why over at Bitcoin.com. You can also get the latest news about what's happening in the Bitcoin universe over at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com. In fact, I was just looking at story over at news.bitcoin.com the other day. I'm constantly, checking the site to see what the latest is in the SegWit 2X situation, which could come to a boil here within the next few weeks, where you've got these two geek sort of sides factions that are fighting, factions that are fighting over what's going to happen with the future of Bitcoin. They've been covering that very closely over at news.bitcoin.com.
I thought World War Geek was over.
Oh, no. Nope. There's the possibility that it could mostly come to an end within the next several weeks.
If you go to coin.dance.com, you can take a look at the block size. And at this point, we have, last I saw, 83% of the miners signaling for SegWit 2X.
Yeah, it looks like that's about right. Yeah.
And that is a tremendous amount. It says to me that when they throw the switch for that, it's still an alpha right now, meaning it's not quite ready for prime time. But when they throw the switch for that, those other 13% of miners are probably going to feel a great deal of pressure,
economic pressure
to switch over. And maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say, we want to stick here and get this other crap coin that comes out of the other end. I don't know. But
time will tell, and they'll be covering it over at news.bitcoin.com. So check that out. And again, if you're brand new to Bitcoin, start over at bitcoin.com. Let's go to your calls. Your thoughts. You can bring up anything you want. We go to Carl. He's in Atlantic City listening to WPG. Hello, Carl.
Thanks for taking my call, gentlemen.
Yes.
I remember that case, that shooting, but what surprised me, how cool and collect she is while this is going on. And
Yeah.
she said this happened. She said that before she started recording this stuff.
Yep.
Not her first rodeo, I would bet.
No, it sounds like she's had a few experiences with the police under her belt. She does seem experienced at dealing with psychotic, panting, adrenaline rushing cops.
Right. And she and furthermore, if I followed it later, she was worse off because it was the boyfriend's car. She didn't have a car, and she got a whole lot of money from a GoFundMe account. And she moved out of the drug-infested housing she lived in and moved into more drug-infested housing. She didn't use the GoFundMe money to get a nice apartment for her.
That's too bad.
Child, and why not? I haven't followed her in a while, so I wonder if she's got a new boyfriend by now. Maybe one was got some bucks in the car, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this guy was a cafeteria worker, as I understand it.
Okay.
Carl, thanks for the update tonight.
Okay,
I appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Chris is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, listening to Kiva. Chris, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Johnny, Ray, and Mark.
What's happening, guys? How you doing?
Hey, Chris, go ahead.
Just quick. Just wanted to weigh in. I know we've been sort of going on with the Philando Castile situation. Been listening for a little while here today. I appreciate the discourse as always, and I guess like you guys were saying, people sort of desperate to stick up for the police. I'm a very large police supporter. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to try and be desperate to stick up for the police in all situations, because that's certainly not the realistic thing to do. This situation, unfortunately, I like some people have been saying, we didn't see what was going on in the car, but I certainly feel like this is a situation of just either a lack of training or just a lack of proper temperament for the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think the assessment that the fellow should not have been on the force is certainly correct.
It's a scary job, right? I mean, it's a scary job.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Certainly, all kinds of things can happen. It takes a special personality type. I work with police on a regular basis, and you got to be cool under pressure.
Absolutely. It's really, realistically, it's a nearly impossible job, and and really, more in a general sense, this fella, I feel like, realistically, like you said, manslaughter is a charge for when you make a mistake. I feel like this was a terrible mistake. I can get how a certain thought process in this fella's mind ballooned into an unrealistic or an incorrect reaction. I'm not defending his actions in this, so don't take me on that. But as far as he might have, you see that he says, "Don't reach for your gun." The fella says, "No problem. I'm not going to reach for my gun. I'm going to reach for my wallet." Wallets tend to be carried in places very similar to firearms,
sure do.
particularly with concealed carry. Again, that to me, if the hair on the back of your neck goes up and you're like, okay, this is threatening, that is the point where absolutely you potentially train your firearm on the fella,
right,
and instruct him to put his hands back where you can see him.
That would be the only appropriate level of escalation in this situation would be to train the weapon on the person to make sure they don't do something
pulled
dangerous.
it. He didn't have to pull the trigger. He could have waited until he saw a gun, which, I mean, it's easy to second guess what's going on in a circumstance, but I guess for me, you got to see a gun before you pull a trigger.
I think so.
And from a police officer's perspective, I would say that is almost entirely true. I know that there are certainly many circumstances where both private citizen or even police that would not be potentially as myself as a permit carry, as a permit holder and a person who carries very regularly. When dealing with the police, absolutely, we're not a required to inform state, but at the same time, it's a courtesy, I feel. But when you do that, you say, hey, sir, I have a firearm. This is where it's located. This is the type of firearm where it's located. The weapon is in a ready-to-fire condition, and I pull my wallet out, have my wallet and license in my hands on the steering wheel in any traffic stop.
Yep.
And then you inform them of what you're going to at that point, and what would you like me to do?
I tend to agree. There There are definitely a better way, a more communicative way that this could have been handled on Philando's side for sure. But that obviously doesn't absolve the cop of his responsibility.
So I'm usually really good at stops, and I probably had a half a dozen stops.
And the cop could have asked too, by the way. The cop could have been like, "Where is your firearm, sir?"
Yeah,
and that would have helped clear it up.
Right, a trained individual should have handled it that way. But there was one instance not too long ago, like probably 5 years ago or something, where a police officer pulled me over and said that my front headlight was out. And I was stunned. So I went from having my hands on the wheel or whatever. I'm like, what? Really? And I opened the door and I run around to take a look at the thing.
That makes cops nervous in some cases.
Well, in this circumstance, the cop didn't have a problem at all. Okay. He's just like, he clearly can see that I'm stunned. But I have sort of, I've got that look. I rarely get tickets, I just have that kind of, they're comfortable with my haircut. They're comfortable with the kind of car I drive. They're comfortable with the clothes I'm wearing. And, I don't get them. But it could have gone really bad with the wrong officer in the wrong jurisdiction, the wrong situation, where I just pull the door wide open to run around to the front of my Honda Element to take a look.
So you pop that door open with a cop standing right there?
Right there.
Yeah, that could make some of them nervous, depending on where and when. Chris, anything else you want to share tonight?
And really, the only thing I was going to say too, and like I said, I guess there's a lot of heavy polarization when it comes to the opinions. With people either hate the police and think they're psychotic, or they are too quick to defend them in all situations. I guess balance is always the way to.
I don't think you should hate any group of people based on whatever that group is.
That would be a prejudice.
Each individual needs, each individual is different, and each individual in each circumstance needs to be judged based on those circumstances and their history and so on and so forth. So I'm with you there. Thanks, Chris, for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. But unfortunately, the police are given deferential treatment. They are treated special. Even after a police officer gets killed, they're given special treatment. Their body is given a parade, whereas the average people in a circumstance aren't. So again, there is a certain level of rights that police seem to have just by virtue of having the badge. And that's not okay, is it? It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
For P150, P150GA, P150NY, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states. If New York or Colorado, call for a similar offer.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. 1-800-972-1059. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call now for a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-972-1059. That's 1-800-972-1059. 1-800-972-1059.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the show. You dial in toll-free and join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Still to come, if we get a chance, McDonald's possibly replacing thousands of cashiers with robots or with computer terminals. Jonny Ray's got some of the details on that coming up. It's Ian, Jonny Ray, and Mark in the studio here tonight. And if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you ought to join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. You can join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Just go to dash.org and you can find out why. As we go back to the phones and to the fun, we've been talking about the not fun topic of Philando Castile, the concealed carry permit holder who was shot to death by a police officer there in, what was it, Missouri? I think it was?
No, it was Minneapolis.
Oh, Minneapolis. Thank you. One of those M places. Anyway, there's actually an update on the story that is really worth sharing from Tech Dirt, and I want to get into that hopefully tonight as well, where police have been digging up dirt on Philando's girlfriend, the girl who was in the car as he was shot to death with I don't know if it was her 3-year-old daughter or his 3-year-old daughter in the back seat.
Time for you to get investigated.
Yeah, so we'll get into that coming up here in moments, but let's go back to the phones and your calls and thoughts. First up, Robert is in Columbus in Ohio. Hello, Robert. You're listening online to LRN.FM. Oh. Okay.
That went
let's
poorly.
go on. We've got Tony. He's in Chicago. Tony, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi there.
Hey.
I was just actually confused as to why he was even approached, because normally at a stop, if they're having a problem, just the driver is approached. So, where was that, appropriate behavior?
What do you mean, the driver? Oh, he was the driver. So
No, he wasn't.
I believe that he was.
He was on the right-hand side. The daughter was her daughter was in the back seat, and she was driving.
Some of the pictures I've seen do look like he's sitting on the passenger side, but...
Well, that doesn't make any sense because maybe some of the video was flipped, perhaps, or the screenshots were flipped. It appears from her video that he is in the...
Right. He was in the driver's seat in her video.
Let me double check. I've got the raw footage here, and yes, It does appear as though, it does appear as though Philando is in the driver's side of the vehicle.
Okay, and so then on that, just one more thing.
Because she gets out of the passenger side, by the way. I'm sure of it because when the police pull her out, she exits the passenger side of the vehicle. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, because I haven't been able to watch that other video because it just kind of tore my heart apart just to hear.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to watch.
Right, but then the second thing is also, like, when you think about 7 shots into a sitting man's body, right? I don't know how police officers are trained, but there could have been, they're non-lethal ways of handling that as well when you're clear-headed.
Sure.
When you're not, when you're trained well enough to be clear-headed. And my issue, I'm like I said, I'm calling from Chicago as a Chicagoan.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that police officers are trained, to use this amazing force and this amazing privilege that they have, right, to be able to, draw their weapons on people and do things that people in normal situations can't do, but yet 7 bullets in a sitting man's body.
It's crazy.
Right.
In the car with a child.
The cop's a wild man. I mean, he's out of control. He loses it completely, and there's no reason why. And I think Mark, you touched on this earlier, or maybe it was one of the callers. But there's no reason why this cop couldn't have unsheathed his taser and pulled that taser, and at least then, even if he'd used it, even if he was trigger happy on the taser, Philando would have come out of this alive, most likely, because, some people will die of a heart attack during a tasering, but it's pretty rare. So it would have been much more likely that he would have come out of this with, some little burn marks on him from the taser. Most cops are given non-lethal weapons like that.
I absolutely adore you all for saying this, because the hardest thing is being a black woman in this country, feeling that, like, so many white men don't have, black people's interest at heart or justice. And for you all to be on this, it just makes my heart feel so good, because I have been so scared in so many situations for people who, I see get pulled over. So honestly, I'm going to download this app. I'm going to be all on you because I just love this conversation.
Well, Tony,
we'll disappoint you at some point. I assure you. At some point, we'll disappoint you.
We've been long-time critics of the police state in this country, and it affects everybody. It doesn't just affect. I mean, certainly it affects disproportionately black people. There's no doubt about that, and Hispanics and other colored folk, if you will.
I don't like to look at this from the standpoint
it affects everybody
of somebody's ethnicity. What I see here,
right? We didn't mention at any point during our discussion of this Philando's skin color. It was one of our callers who brought that up.
It makes me so happy, right? Because that's what real justice is. Real justice is blind to all of that. It takes all the information in. And so, yes, you may let me down, because every human does. Right now, y'all are some of my favorite people on this planet, and I love you, and I pray for you. I hope everything turns out well in your life.
Thank you, Tony. And check out freetalklive.com. You can grab the archives there and listen to as much of this show as you like online. Again, freetalklive.com.
I most certainly will. I'm telling everybody I know to do so.
Awesome. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It is rare to hear on the radio, which is how she was listening. It's rare to hear from anybody who is critical of the police. Generally, those talk show hosts, if you're a local host, you don't get any interviews from the police if you're critical of them, and they might even find reasons to pull you over.
I've got an article right here sitting in my show prep that says that concealed carry permit holders are less likely to commit a crime than police officers. And to me, what that says is that, look, if you want to make generalizations about people, Philando Castile was a concealed carry permit holder, and he went through all the steps, did all the stuff, and
in some states there's a lot of steps.
Yeah, died gurgling there in front of his child. Best I can tell, it's his child. I don't know. And it's really
horrifying.
Really horrifying.
It's just an absolutely terrible video, even without the the actual close up of the shooting, just the audio of him dying in his last words. I mean, it's just it's horrendous.
His last words are, I
wasn't reaching.
I wasn't reaching. Like all he wants to communicate to this officer is the two things he says, right before and right after he's shot is that he's not trying to harm the officer.
Wasn't trying to put him in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. And so here's the story that I definitely wanted to get to that is in relation to this. From techdirt.com, everything anyone has ever said about staying safe while interacting with the police is wrong. That citizens are told to comport themselves in complete obeisance just to avoid...
Obeisance, yeah.
Just to avoid being beaten or shot by officers is itself bizarre, an insane inversion of the term public servant. But Philando Castile, who was shot 5 times and killed by now former officer Geronimo Yanez, played by all the rules, which looks suspiciously like the same instructions given to stay safe during an armed robbery.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Okay, so to point out, he did play by all the rules. Now, we've mentioned some of the sort of other steps one can take above and beyond, but no one can deny that Philando played by all the rules. Everything he did, every step of the way, was within the law. And there might be some steps that he could have taken in that circumstance, but
and that's what people can take away from this, is to be extra cautious in any situation that seems routine. It's just a pullover for this. This goes to show that any pullover, no matter how routine it seems as though it is, it's just a burnout brake light. There's no real risk here. Well, there was apparently the entire risk of his life at this burnout taillight, and that can be you, that can be me, that can be absolutely anybody else who's put into this situation with a cop who is trained to escalate or likely to escalate a situation from a plain old traffic stop into a killing. So this can happen to absolutely anybody. Castile didn't have a criminal record, by the way, or at least nothing on it that mattered. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to allow to own a weapon, much less obtain a permit to conceal the gun. Castile told Yanez, as the permit requires, that he had a concealed weapon. He tried to respond to an officer's, although, Mark, you've said this state does not require it. They're saying that it does.
Some do, some don't.
He tried to respond to the officer's demand for his ID, reaching into his pocket for both of those compliant efforts. He was killed. Castile's shooting might have gone unnoticed, washed into the jet stream of officer-involved killings that happen over 1,000 times a year in the United States alone. But his girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, immediately live-streamed the aftermath via Facebook. Her boyfriend bled out while responding officers tried to figure out what to do, beyond call for more backup to handle a dead black man sitting in his own vehicle. We'll continue with this story and what the police did later that might surprise you.
Bitcoin.com is the most unique online destination in the Bitcoin universe. Buying Bitcoin? Do it here. Want to speak your mind to other Bitcoin users? Our forum is always open and censorship free at forum.bitcoin.com. There's no bigger Bitcoin believers than the Bitcoin.com team. That's why this site is a one-stop shop for everything you need to get into Bitcoin life. You can also play games at games.bitcoin.com. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from the White Mountains in the Shire, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, June 25th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,606. Antiwar.com reports the Pentagon is facing a flurry of inquiries from high-ranking senators from both parties following an Associated Press story that revealed that U.S. soldiers were involved in the interrogation of detainees at sites in Yemen where torture of detainees was widespread. The AP article quoted Pentagon officials confirming that this was the case, but claiming that the U.S. soldiers weren't directly involved in the torture or even necessarily personally aware of the fact that the detainees were tortured by UAE forces ahead of their interrogation by Americans. Senators were quick to point out that doesn't make the U.S. involvement any more legal, with Senators John McCain and Jack Reed both calling the report deeply disturbing and urging Defense Secretary James Mattis to investigate the matter to provide more details. Senator Patrick Leahy noted that beyond the legal question of the Pentagon's involvement, the fact that the torturers were from the United Arab Emirates could mean that the continued provisions of U.S. support for them would violate a law forbidding funding to known human rights violators. Senator Ron Wyden said he was particularly troubled by the Pentagon's legalistic response to the incident, saying that the bar for the United States is higher than torture is okay if we don't see it.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports the American Civil Liberties Union asked a federal judge on Saturday to expand an order that temporarily blocks the deportation of 114 Iraqis in Michigan to cover Iraqis nationwide. The advocacy group filed an amended complaint seeking to keep the Immigration and Customs Enforcement from deporting Iraqis from anywhere in the United States while a federal judge weighs the case of the Iraqis in Michigan. U.S. District Judge Mark Goldsmith on Thursday ordered a stay in the Michigan Iraqis deportation for at least 2 weeks while he decides whether he has jurisdiction. The ACLU, which has sued to block the Michigan deportations, asked Goldsmith to rule by Monday on expanding his order to cover more than 1,400 Iraqis facing expulsion across the United States. The immigration agency has indicated it might start those deportations as soon as Tuesday, according to the ACLU. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement spokeswoman Jillian Christensen said the agency was reviewing the judge's order. She said via email, the agency intends to comply with the terms of the order while determining the appropriate next steps. The DOJ did not respond to a request for comment. The ACLU said in its filing that those being deported could face persecution or torture because many were Chaldean Catholics or Iraqi Kurds, and that both groups were recognized as targets of ill treatment in Iraq. The ACLU also filed a motion asking the judge to extend his order nationwide to ensure that people who could face persecution, torture, or death in Iraq are not deported.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
UPI reports Google announced it will no longer scan the contents of Gmail messages in order to tailor advertising to customers. The tech company announced the change on Friday in a blog post. It will go into effect later in the year. Google's G Suite email for business already does not scan message content to generate ads, but the free Gmail is now going to follow suit. Instead, ads will be generated based on details taken from other sources, including YouTube videos that the user watches. Alphabet announced that Google still plans to scan emails in order to gather information, not to be used in targeted advertising. A blog post said G Suite customers and free consumer Gmail users can remain confident that Google will keep privacy and security paramount as we continue to innovate. Gmail users can check the settings page to opt out of targeted advertising. Gmail has more than 1.2 billion users worldwide. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A report by Stanford University researchers released Thursday found that Americans spend 90% of their waking hours staring at glowing rectangles. Researchers identified more than 30 varieties of iridescent rectangles, ranging from personal and work rectangles to rectangles that heat food and those that can fit right in one's pocket.
From the moment Americans wake up, they are captivated by these bright, pulsing rectangles. In fact, if you look at the data, it's hard to find a single minute when the public isn't captivated by these, I'm sorry, where were we?
In local news, a run-over squirrel is remembered as frantic and indecisive. And in other news, a trail of rose petals leads a wife to a sink full of dishes. Prince Fielder reports to spring training exactly the right amount overweight, and a local yard sale reeks of divorce. If you don't hear the sound of my voice the same time next week, alert my family and then visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can join us here toll-free. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733 as we launch into the third hour here, Sunday edition. For those of you just tuning in, we've been talking about Philando Castile, the concealed carry permit holder who was shot to death by a trigger-happy cop. That cop now found not guilty by a jury on
I just don't like the term
manslaughter and 2 counts of reckless discharge.
Okay.
Sounds like a reckless discharge to me. I don't like the term trigger happy because the officer was clearly not happy. I just think the guy's unqualified. I don't think he went out that day thinking, I'm going to shoot somebody and I can't wait, and I sincerely hope it's an ethnic minority. I think that he was scared, and just because he can't handle going up to a window of a car with a family in it, one of them is a concealed carry permit holder, and that to me just says he's unqualified, not trigger happy. Trigger happy sounds like somebody who just wants to go, yee-haw, boom, 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 and I don't get that feel from him.
I mean, trigger happy.
It's your job to paint pictures with words.
The definition is ready to react violently, especially by shooting on the slightest provocation. I mean, that fits the definition. It doesn't necessarily mean you're happy about it, Mark, but I can understand why somebody might jump to that conclusion.
You paint pictures with words, and I'm just trying to help.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the story here. We'll get to your calls about whatever you want in a moment, but I did want to get this news out about what the police did after this situation to try to make themselves look better and to drag somebody else through the mud. In this case, it was Officer Geronimo Yanez who was the trigger puller in this case. But after the incident, they started to look into the victim's the victim's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds. She was the one who did the live streaming to Facebook after the shooting, so that's where you see her boyfriend basically take his last breath on camera.
It's really awful.
It's pretty harrowing to watch the video. After Yanez fired 7 bullets into the cab, this story from techdirt.com, of the vehicle did officers finally remove the girlfriend's 4-year-old daughter. To win at killing citizens, you must start the spin immediately. Yanez spun his own, speaking to a lawyer less than 2 hours after killing Castile. Local law enforcement did the same thing.
That, by the way, is a good idea.
Yep, documents obtained by Tony Webster show Special Agent Bill O'Donnell issued a warrant to Facebook for, quote, all information retained, unquote, by the company on Ms. Diamond Reynolds, Castile's girlfriend. This was to include all emails sent or received by that account, as well as chat logs, which presumably means the content of private messages. The warrant also demands any communications that may have been deleted by Reynolds, as well as metadata on photos or videos uploaded to Facebook. It came accompanied with an indefinite gag order. Why would law enforcement want, much less need, information from the victim's girlfriend's Facebook account? It appears that officers were looking to justify the killing after the fact. The following sworn statement was contained in the affidavit, quote, your affiant is aware through training and expertise that individuals frequently call and or text messages to each other regarding criminal activity during and or after an event has occurred, unquote. This is warrant boilerplate, especially when it comes to obtaining information from accounts or devices. But this warrant should be But this warrant should be considered anything but business as usual. It should be, but it isn't. This is the actual standard operating procedure after an officer kills someone. The department goes digging through its criminal records to find any reason at all to have killed the person and to buttress the claim that he feared for his safety, those excuses given by the officers so commonly that we see in these similar situations, awarding them points for effort based on information that they didn't have when they ended that person's life. So, meaning that this officer at this point in that scene had known enough to know that this person was a concealed carry permit holder. Maybe he didn't know what sort of criminal history, which of course wasn't much of any, if any at all, that Philando had.
Yeah.
Whether the officer knew that or not is another question. But if they could have dug through Diamond's profile, if they could have dug through, their history and said, well, these were criminals, these were people who were untrustworthy, these were people who had committed, theft
smear,
or violence.
Right? I mean,
but they couldn't find that, and so going on here. The awarding them points for effort. Okay. So when it comes to police shootings in America, there are no aggressors in uniform, only victims. Officer Yanez made his own excuses.
Right. I'd say that this is the department attempting to cover its
up.
butt.
Yeah.
This isn't the police officer. Like, the police officer didn't do this. The department.
No, he was on suspension.
They're like, oh my God, we're liable for this.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what do we do? Well, check out her Facebook account. We got to find out something about this lady.
So
it's the same spirit that has people on the internet taking stills from Diamond's video and drawing red circles on it, saying, "Is this a gun?" Because they want to make it right, even if the officer didn't behave exactly the way he should have, exactly the way his training dictated that he should have, and maybe he killed somebody, but it serves the higher truth that the police are there working for us, and hey, he actually, these people were bad even though he didn't know it.
That's not the truth. That's their narrative. That's
right.
what they
the higher
want
narrative.
to
That's a
spin
better
as
way
the
to
truth.
describe it.
So there's an excerpt here from Mr. Yanez's excuse, which is this is golden. I don't know if y'all have heard this one yet. But this is his excuse for why he decided that Philando Castile had no respect for human life and he was so scared. Quote, this is from the cop who did the shooting. I thought I was going to die. And I thought if he has the guts and the audacity to smoke marijuana in front of the 5-year-old girl and risk her lungs and risk her life by giving her secondhand smoke and the front seat passenger doing the same thing, then what care does he give about me?
I've heard this accusation on the marijuana smoking. I want to know, what kind of proof do we have on that?
Well, it's plausible. Let's just say that.
Sure, it's quite possible that they were smoking marijuana. I don't my first thought is when was the last time marijuana caused somebody to go murder crazy?
It doesn't happen.
It's not. Alcohol. I can see that one.
Yeah.
Maybe horse tranquilizers or something. Okay, I've heard of PCP. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've never. You don't hear
most honest cops will tell you that anytime they're on a scene and they're dealing with somebody who is a pot smoker, that they've never really been in any way put in jeopardy or feared for their life. Most cops would tell you that, if they were being honest. Following his testimony's logic, writes TechDirt.com, smoking pot in front of a child has so severely damaged Castile's moral compass, he apparently would have thought nothing about shooting an officer over a non-functioning taillight. There's no logical boundary that cops won't cross to pin the blame on the dead. Hence, the Facebook warrant to dig up dirt on his girlfriend.
The police officer didn't know what kind of warrants Philando might have had at that point. Like, he didn't
have the ID at that point. He hadn't run the check. But anyway, the point here is that there's no logical boundary the cops won't cross to pin the blame on the dead, hence the Facebook warrant to dig up dirt on his girlfriend in hopes of adding a bit more post-facto righteousness to the shoot. The only upside, and it's an incredibly small one given the surrounding circumstances, is that Facebook refused to hand over the information on the grounds that the indefinite gag order was unconstitutional. Faced with this pushback, Minnesota police withdrew the warrant. But in the end, Yanez was acquitted, and Philando Castile is still dead, a man who did nothing more than try to comply with an officer's orders. So there you go. There's the update in that case.
So I want to know, do I hate police officers because I think that it was duplicitous and, gross that this police department would send Facebook like a subpoena trying to get information on this woman whom they didn't charge, with anything. That there's no evidence that I can tell that she was particularly guilty of anything. Am I again? Do I again hate police officers? Because this is the charge that keeps being leveled at us. And I don't feel that way.
I don't hate the police.
As a fireman,
I find a lot of them likable.
As a fireman, I work with police officers. I don't wait till they turn around and stab them in the neck or something. No. I mean, this is... It seems like a real reach that I do a radio program about government accountability. Police officers work for the government. I would like them to be accountable. Asking a government bureaucrat to be accountable is not hate.
What a pleasant surprise to see Facebook actually rebuffed this warrant. I didn't expect that part of the story, so kudos to Facebook for getting it right once. 855 450 free. They're still evil. Free Talk Live.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free here at 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. Healthcare pretty messed up in the United States, and you can expect it's going to continue being messed up so long as the government is running most of it, which is pretty much the case.
They're paying for it at least.
Yeah, they're paying for a whole bunch of it, which means they control it, and they control a lot, which means the prices are crazy and trying to shove insurance down everybody's throat. But you don't have to have insurance. There is a company that can give you freedom from insurance, and that is healthexcellenceselect.com. You go there, and they'll give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge, 24-hour access to doctors, including traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. They've also got a medical information card you can give to EMS, first responders, the emergency room, and more. You'll love the service and the price. Just head on over to healthexcellenceselect.com. That's healthexcellenceselect.com. We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts here, but Mark, you did have one other thing to add since we're still on the Philando Castile topic. You had an excerpt from a statement from the prosecutor, the person who brought the charges against Officer Yanez in this particular case, which ultimately, unfortunately, not a single one of them apparently stuck with this jury. But what was it that the prosecutor had to say about this that you wanted to share?
This prosecutor Choi, basically in a press conference, was pointing out some facts that caused him to bring the charges.
Right, because usually cops don't get charges brought against them when they shoot and kill somebody.
Right. So his the officer's partner, Kozner, was standing at the car's passenger window during the shooting. It didn't touch or remove his gun from the holster.
Right, he didn't feel threatened.
There was another officer there who had another vantage point that at no point felt the necessity to pull a gun, or let alone fire it.
Correct.
And Yanez stated that he did not know where So Yanez, the officer that shot Philando here, said he did not know where Castile's gun was. To me, that's the most damning part of this here, right? Like, it's one thing to hold a gun on somebody who's reaching around or whatever. It's another thing to pull the trigger. And that's the problem when you pull a gun is that it's a real short trip from holding a gun onto someone and shooting them.
In this case, he didn't hold the gun for any moment of time. It was pull and fire.
Right.
Pull and fire 5, 6, 7 times.
Choi also noted that Philando Castile was not resisting or fleeing. There was absolutely no criminal intent exhibited by Castile throughout this encounter.
You couldn't ask for a more obedient sort of, police encounter.
He was respectful and compliant based on the instructions and orders that he was given.
Right. He wasn't muttering effing pig under his breath or anything like that.
He volunteered in good faith that he had a firearm beyond what the law requires.
It's true. In what state was it?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yep. He emphatically stated that he wasn't pulling it out.
That's right.
But
the officer was.
At the point that he says he wasn't pulling it out, the officer had already decided to smoke him, though. Right?
He was pulling a gun at that point. The officer was pulling the gun sort of outside his vision, likely, sort of like just below the window of the window level of the door.
Castile's movement was restricted by his own seatbelt. Let's not forget that that's legislated by law, the law that the officer was going to enforce. He was accompanied in his vehicle by a woman and a young child, just showing that he's less likely to use violence there. Just saying, Castile did not exhibit any intent, nor did he have any reason to shoot Officer Yanez. So that's sort of an after-the-fact thing. Yanez wouldn't necessarily know that, but it's unlikely that Castile was pulling a gun, and Yanez admitted he never saw a gun.
That's right.
In fact, his dying words were in protest that he wasn't reaching for his gun. So that's what caused the prosecutor to bring this charge, and I think that the charge of manslaughter is legit. And I believe the jury's their mindset was that of, well, officers deserve the benefit of the doubt, and I agree that officers deserve the benefit of the doubt, but so does everybody else at trial. And what we've found out is that when officers go to trial, they are highly unlikely to be found guilty. However, when we go to trial, we are likely to be found guilty. And I say that this is a societal epidemic of sort of state worship. Not because I hate officers or anything like that. It's just that why? Why is it that we believe that this class of people is better than us?
I don't believe that.
Well, I can tell you most Americans do.
They do, and it's a problem.
Furthermore, the judge and Officer Yanez are both on the same team. So
true.
So the solution, I think, is nothing like expecting the judiciary to hold the police as accountable as they would hold us mundanes. The solution is for the police not to be special, is for them not is for them to be providing a service just like the rest of us do for each other. The solution is for them to have to make the case for why you have to give them the money to pay for their services.
So what you're saying is the police should be funded consensually, that police should no longer be taxpayer funded.
Right. We wouldn't want the government providing our food for us because we would starve, and yet something that is so vital to the advance of civilization, the protection
services
of our rights and our property, we, for some reason, believe that a monopoly is the best way to do it.
And we should know better than that. I mean, people should know. I mean, there's basics of like economics. It's that monopolies are bad, right? Most people realize that monopoly is bad. There's a whole game. There's a game about it. You know, when you put one company in charge of whatever it is, that company is likely to give you poor service. When that company knows that you can't go somewhere else to get that service, that they have it, they got a lock on that thing.
Well, they have a lock on the funding. They're going to get paid to do whatever their job is.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a monopoly. You know. You need this service, they know you need it, and they know that you have to come to them. Or you can move somewhere else.
You don't need the service. You can hire private. This is like public school. I can hire somebody to educate my child. I can hire somebody to protect me. I can have a bodyguard. I can have private security. I don't need their service.
What you cannot do is hire the public school system. You cannot not hire the local police.
You're making the point, Mark, that there are alternative protection systems out there for those who are willing to pay above and beyond what they're paying in taxes.
This guy didn't get a service. There was no service rendered here. In no way was there a service provided to a Philando Castile or any other American by Officer Yanez?
No doubt.
Yanez was a liability from the moment he was hired, as evidenced by the fact that he shot a man going for the license and registration that he had seconds before
asked for. But the monopoly in this case doesn't have to worry about hiring a liability.
It's a cartel, okay? So
they are a monopoly. You cannot provide the same exact services the police provide. You can't do it or you'll be considered a gang.
But there are organizations that can. The state police, the FBI could come in and put sanctions on this particular police department. They won't, but they could. So it is not a monopoly by that definition. I just don't like using this terminology. If we're going to do it, let's do it right. This is a cartel that is force-funded and, in this case, provided no service.
Well, the defenders of them would say that they were providing the service of keeping the roads safe. You got to keep people with burnout brake lights off the road and possibly put bullets into them, and that's keeping us safe.
Yeah, it would be one thing if that was if that's what occurred, and it didn't.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. I think it's mincing terms to call this not a monopoly because ultimately they're all the state, all of those different bureaucracies that you cited as the cartel. I think they're both probably accurate, but more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
If you had purchased $100 of Bitcoin in 2010, today you'd have $2,600,000. While that sinks in, you now have a huge cryptocurrency opportunity trading at a guaranteed 7 cents per coin. ProCoin, a coin publicly traded in the open market, easily converted to cash, available in 60 countries, and ProCoin is the only cryptocurrency offering coin-back rewards for consumers and merchants. Take action by June 30th at ProCoinCurrency.net. That's ProCoinCurrency.net. Deadline for 7 cent guarantee is June 30th.
fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Free Talk Live.
3-year-old child lost his arm after being viciously attacked by a pit bull terrier earlier this month.
Gosh.
Now the incident has moved a state lawmaker to author legislation that will effectively ban the pit bull breed in the entire state of Oklahoma.
Wow. Wouldn't all of Mr. Wesselhoff's constituents be a little safer if we all just couldn't have any dogs at all?
That's true. It would guarantee that no one would be bitten by dogs.
Right, and no
What
cats.
about cats? They scratch people.
They do scratch people, and it leaves a nasty infection.
It could, certainly.
Certainly.
We should ban infections, too, while we're at it. I mean, while we're protecting everyone from everything.
Birds can carry the flu, we know that.
You know, we should just exterminate all animals with teeth.
Well, forget the teeth. The birds have no teeth. I say we kill them all.
Just every animal out there. What about insects? You could just sign a law that bans mosquitoes.
That'd be great.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free and join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Tonight in studio with you, it's Ian.
Johnny Ray.
And Mark.
Also, Mark, you've been very excited recently about Simbi.com. You've been using it to hire people to supplant me. You normally would come to me to have me, cut some commercials for you now, but now all these other people are getting the gigs.
You're expensive. No, I mean, we need a variety of voices for ads here, and I found some real winners at Simbi.com. And what it is, it's a marketplace that you don't use money. They have their own currency there. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that you trade your talents and services with other people. And they have a currency of their own with the purpose that you're not just taking and not giving. It's a way to sort of trade, and everybody can use this currency within their platform, which is really slick. It's a marketplace that's really awesome. And you can forget the old economy. It's your economy. Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services they have there. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting in the symbiotic economy. Go get an account now at Simbi.com and take a look around and post your services. SIMBI as in symbiotic. Simbi.com.
Let's go to the phones to the fun.
Isn't symbiotic spelled with a Y?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to Scott. He's in Massachusetts. Scott, the bigot, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, good evening, Ian, Mark, and Johnny Ray. I'd like to say that Patriots Nation fans are a bunch of morons, and I'm going to tell you why. They cater
Patriots
to Robert Kraft, who's become a billionaire, and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They've become sports guards. And for those listeners who are outside of the New England area aren't familiar with Robert Kraft, he's a multi-billionaire who's made billions of dollars on the backs of these stupid Patriots Nation fans, selling them everything from sweatshirts to T-shirts to even lottery tickets from the Massachusetts
But what makes
State
them
Lottery.
any different from any other sports fanatic?
Isn't that what happens? I mean, isn't that what sports teams do?
Yeah. How's that different?
Well,
Just
the
'cause you live
Patriots
there?
are actually a very super successful team.
They
so
are.
that makes them their fans less stupid, I would think.
You think?
There used to be a time, gentlemen, when it used to be a sport. Now it's just a big giant business, and Robert Kraft, people who aren't familiar.
When was it not a business?
Has become basically an evil and greedy Jewish businessman.
What?
And it's
Jewish?
a lot
What?
more than that.
What?
Because I'm going to tell you why.
Where do we find the
Patriots
Jew in
fans
here?
Suck up to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They put them all on a
Those
pedestal.
don't sound like Jewish people.
What's that?
Those don't sound like Jewish people to me.
No, I'm saying that Tom Brady, of course, the quarterback, and Bill Belichick aren't, but Robert Kraft is Jewish, owns it.
So you're saying the owner of the...
You just hunt down everybody who's Jewish? How'd you know Robert Kraft was Jewish?
Why? You have to be a genius? You just look at him. You can see. But the point I'm making is that sports in this country is so sick and so out of control. Take LeBron James, for instance. Now, LeBron James can throw a basketball.
Okay.
Now, if LeBron James, he gets a $100 million contract. If LeBron James couldn't play basketball, what would he be doing? Picking cotton somewhere?
Get him
How
off
come a
here.
Harvard University professor makes $100,000 a year and LeBron James makes $100 million?
Because there's
over
all
period?
different kinds of skills and services out there. You wouldn't
But it's
expect.
crazy.
You wouldn't expect the guy who.
You're just jealous,
Yeah, you
Scott.
are. You absolutely
I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me something.
When you were talking about cops, I hate cops. And they deserve to get the little money that they do, because I agree with you on one thing, and I'll get back. They do absolutely go out of their way to persecute people. Absolutely. Now, that's not an opinion. That's a fact, because I've seen it time and time again. They pulled me over, over some cockamamie. I was going a few miles over the speed limit. So on that topic, I agree with you. What they really are.
Let's get back into the sports thing here. It's more interesting to disagree. So let's get into the sports thing here. Why do you believe, leaving aside that the team's owner happens to be Jewish, allegedly, leaving that aside.
Allegedly, he is Jewish.
Leaving that aside, okay.
That's a claim.
Well, I mean, I did pull up his Wikipedia page, and it may be true. But anyway, regardless, not every sports team owner is Jewish, and all sports teams have fanatics. That's what fan is short for. Fanatics, people who are, obsessed with that team. They will buy anything that has the team's logo on it if they can afford to do it, and even if they can't, they might go into debt in order to buy these things. They'll buy season tickets. They'll go obsessively, to the games. They're supporting the thing that is interesting to them. It's their hobby. It's the thing that they do for fun, and the marketplace values these players at a very, very high level. You can't deny that's what the market is willing to pay these people. I think it's a lot of money. I don't personally put money into sports because I find it boring. But regardless, a lot of people are really into it. Why do you think that New England fans are somehow different? Isn't it just because you live there, so you're immersed in that particular culture, and so you're kind of disproportionately exposed to those fans?
Yes, it's true. New England fans, Boston fans, they're nut jobs. They'll do anything to support any of these teams, spend any amount of money, paint their faces, they're really imbeciles. They're morons.
But they all do that. They all do that.
All across the country, I agree.
bitter.
And all of America
He's a very bitter man.
addicted to sports, and they're sick and they're crazy.
All right,
and,
Scott.
And these team owners laugh all the way to the bank.
But if you went
players
into
get $100 million contract, it used to be a sport. It used to be enjoyable. Now it's just
the only time
business.
it's a
an
sport
industry.
is, thank you for the call, Scott. The only time it's a sport is when people get together for the purpose of just playing a game of football and not selling things aside from it. As long as the National Football League has been in existence, it has been a business, has it not? I mean, I wasn't around when they started, but I suspect it's been about investing in a team, putting that team out there, having them play, and getting fans involved and getting them to spend all kinds of money on the team. That's what it's always been about. Well, I mean, was it ever this sort of fanciful idea that Scott had, where it's always just, where at some point it was just some men on a field playing a game? When it was the NFL, I don't think so. It's about money, and that's okay. It's business.
Scott is referencing a time in his life when he wasn't all wrapped up in people's ethnicities, and he enjoyed the game of football. Now the fact that a person that he is identified as Jewish owns a particular team, it was probably his favorite.
And he's paying black men very well.
Yeah, where he comes from.
And Scott's a bigot. He hates both blacks
upset
and
about that too.
Jews.
I mean, all I hear is an embittered man who's had a rough time of life. There's no doubt he's trusted the wrong people, and things have gone
Still
poorly
living at
for him.
mom's house.
But I don't know about that. But
last we heard, she picked up the phone like 5 years ago. Yeah, and then he disappeared for a while.
I think she's quite ill, as I recall.
Is that right?
His conversation at one point.
What do you think, Johnny Ray? I mean, you're from North Carolina originally. We're from Florida. I know that there were some fanatical Bucks fans down in Florida for many years. There were the years where the Bucks were terrible, and it was
if you liked them then, you were fanatical.
It was cool to hate the Bucks back then, but at some point they became a very good team, and they won a couple Super Bowls or something like that.
And they got to the playoffs more than once.
Yeah, and so then people got pretty fanatical about the Bucks, and you started to see the pewter colors and the red,
pewter and red
everywhere, and
instead of the original creamsicle uniform. Yeah.
What was it like in North Carolina, Johnny Ray? What's the team there? Is it the Panthers? What is it, North Carolina?
Well, North Carolina is all about college basketball.
Is that right?
Yeah, Carolina, Duke, Wake Forest.
Do people
ACC
paint their faces?
People are putting
their
time and talent and bodies on the line for absolutely nothing. Just the opportunity to compete in the NBA.
Yeah, the hope of something.
We had
and they might get some cheerleaders or something like that out of the deal.
Yeah.
Hartford, Connecticut's
groupies.
NHL franchise moved to North Carolina. They were the Hartford Whalers. They became the Carolina Hurricanes. They won a Stanley Cup, which I loved. That was very exciting for me. And but I'm not really a sports fan.
Yeah.
I wish they would bring back the XFL. I thought that was a really interesting idea.
The
I like
WWE
the idea.
thing.
Yeah, the XFL.
Vince
You're allowed
McMahon.
to spike the football and dance around the end zone. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah,
hot cheerleaders and hot outfits.
Right. Did you ever watch it? I always just heard about it.
No, I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed it.
It was there and it was gone. It didn't last very long at all.
Clearly, I didn't have the commitment level either. I think I saw a game or two or something. I don't know.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450. Free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Now, the XFL, was it scripted like wrestling was?
No.
No?
No.
It was legit?
They wouldn't go for that.
They didn't have angry teammates threatening one another on the side of the the sidelines or whatever, people attacking each other.
That would be
off the
better.
field. It would, yeah, might have made it work out.
Folding chairs.
There you go. More coming up here. It is Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org. Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the show. You can dial in toll-free here to bring up what you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We've got Skype, and you can Skype in here. It's Skype username LRN.FM. If you like Free Talk Live and you appreciate the work that we do here talking about the ideas of liberty and peace and cryptocurrency on a 7-night-a-week live basis, you can, of course, listen online anytime at freetalklive.com, download archives, and more. Of course, get us on over 170 great radio stations from coast to coast. If you want to hear us on more radio stations, let's say 300 or 400 of them, it's possible. We just have to be able to effectively market the show, and the AMP program helps us do that. Also, we're looking into options as to what to do. We're going to be getting a proposal on some social networking work, possibly hiring somebody to help us with that. We're considering different options as far as what can we do to do a little bit more outreach on the internet, get more podcast listeners or people watching our live streams. So we got some irons in the fire on that. And we'll reveal more of that over time. But for right now, you can go and check out the AMP program as it is. You can see some of the stuff we're spending the money on over at amp.freetalklive.com to help promote the ideas of freedom and liberty. If that's worth, let's say, $5 a month to you, you'll get perks, too. You'll get access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the regular commercials our normal podcast does. and more, like the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP badge that you can get for the new Free Talk Live forum at forum.freetalklive.com. To get signed up for AMP, you can use Bitcoin or credit card or PayPal. Just go to AMP, A-M-P, amp.freetalklive.com. To the phones, to your calls and thoughts. We got Barry. He's in North Dakota. Barry, where in North Dakota are you tonight?
Well, I'm between Williston, North Dakota, and Minot, North Dakota. It's kind of in the center of where the oil field is, the Bakken oil field.
Okay, so you're listening to KTGO. Go ahead with your thoughts.
You know, I'm listening on this shooting. I'm sure that the guy made a mistake and he should have been convicted. But my real problem comes into, you know, somebody was talking last night. I've only listened to you for 2 nights. I haven't been on the road. Is that some of these people that are getting hired shouldn't be hired because they're not qualified to be hired, but they're forced to be hired because the law has changed. One of you said you were a firefighter.
I am.
I remember when you used to be where was a firefighter? I'm sure 30 years ago, the requirements to be a firefighter are much different than they are today.
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that. The requirements for, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is.
Are you suggesting that the requirements are more or less stringent today?
Much less stringent.
Well, I can tell you there's different rules for women than there are for men, but in all likelihood, women wouldn't be sent to do the roles that men are in those circumstances. There's all kinds of different roles, depending on what's necessary at a given time.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point, at least on the firefighter. I mean, do you want somebody that weighs 79 pounds trying to go pick up some guy that's 300 pounds?
No.
Or, I mean, that might be extreme, but now we've lowered the standards so that that person wouldn't qualify, but now they do qualify. And I think that's what's happening. And it's the same thing, I think, in the police and a lot of different things, is that we can't be politically correct if we don't lower the standards.
I think you're right. I think that there's, that's part of the issue is the standards have been lowered.
It's been harder for them to find recruits as well. So that's one of the reasons why they're lowering standards, sort of like how the military was for a while under the Bush administration, was getting harder for them to recruit people. So they were raising the bonuses and lowering the standards, letting in people with, criminal convictions or drug use. And you're seeing the same things happen in some police departments where they're just so desperate to try to find new officers that they have to lower their standards. And the reason why, one of the reasons why that it's harder for them to find new officers is because people, they've seen how bad a lot of the police have behaved. They don't want to be hated by their peer group. And ultimately, young people know, a lot of them inherently, that the police are not their friends. And so when one of their friends goes and becomes a cop, that automatically puts them at sort of arm's length. And I think there's some social pressures here.
Yeah, you're probably right there. But then also you look at, certain areas of the country where who would want to be a police because of just the way the other people are, the criminals. I mean, you talk about shootings in some of these cities.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know what I would do if I lived in some of them.
Yeah, some of these places are real war zones.
Like Chicago, the murders.
Like Chicago would be a prime example.
Baltimore.
Yeah. And then one other comment on that guy that didn't like New England. He should live here in North Dakota where we got the Packer fans, the Viking fans, and Denver. 2 of the 3 have won Super Bowls. I've been a Viking fan all my life, and I don't see any winnings anytime soon, but I guess that's just the way life goes.
What does it mean to be a fan? Does that mean that you stick with the team through good and bad, or are you like a fair weather fan that you're only there when they're winning?
Well, I think you stay with them the whole time, regardless of whether they're winning or losing. You're just a true fan because you see a lot of fair weather fans. One team wins, and all of a sudden now we're all kind of fans.
And it doesn't matter who's on the team, right?
I watch it for the enjoyment, not for whatever. If they don't win, that's fine, as long as the game was interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like a Bucks fan.
They're all the same.
No, if you live here, you're close to Minnesota, so you got the Twins, which actually have done fairly well in history. But you got the Vikings, you got the Timberwolves. They couldn't win if they had to.
Because remember, it's always, the team itself is different from who makes it up, right? So like
what is there to like on a team? So like the people,
the colors,
on the team, right? The people,
the location.
The people on the team aren't from that location.
Most of them aren't. Yeah, probably 99% of them aren't.
Like in baseball, they're not even from the
country in many cases. I don't even know what there is to like. And it's not to say that I don't like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I certainly do. I sit down and I watch them, but I don't know what it is that I like.
It has something to do with the area where you're
from. In some way or another.
Yeah,
but
I think it's enjoyment. If you enjoy the game itself, it's just another way to participate. When you get old, like some of us, you can't do that anymore, so you kind of enjoy watching somebody else that can do it right.
I was never going to catch a football like Jerry Rice at my prime, I can assure you.
Hey, Barry, good call, man. Thanks for sharing with us tonight. I appreciate it. Drive safe out there.
Have a good night.
Yes, sir. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
It really boils down to your favorite group of millionaires, you know? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I guess most of them do get paid pretty close to that, right? Some of them a few $100,000 a year or whatever.
Yeah, the kickers get pretty low. Did you see that there's a story out that there's a likely candidate for the first female NFL kicker?
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's a gal out there
for real?
that's really good, and
Yeah?
she may very well get that position. Now, remember, it's a 15-yard penalty for roughing the kicker. If you're the first guy that hits that woman, you're also going to have your name smeared across every. You know, I mean,
you can't touch a kicker.
But you have no business touching that kicker.
Interesting.
No business.
So they're like the safest person in all of football.
Right. And this lady can kick. She kicked a 43-yard field goal, I believe.
Wow, that's a long way.
It's a good one.
Isn't sometimes a kicker put upon to stop the pass returner or the kickoff returner?
Yeah, it's a rare circumstance.
Meaning if the person who receives the ball makes it past all the blockers, then the kicker's the last man standing.
Guy, yeah. That happened to my pal Brennan McClure in Asheville High School football.
But he's in high school. Okay, yeah, that means that every other player didn't do their job. Hopefully they can teach her how to do a shoestring tackle. I mean, I don't know. I don't think she's got the body weight to do it, but you know, she could still, in the right circumstance, get a hold of somebody.
So there's no rule in the NFL that they can't bring a woman in. It's just never.
No.
There's just never been one
who's been qualified.
Who's been qualified.
Right, and I would love to see one that can do the job.
Yeah,
it would be really fun. It would be exciting to see.
They've had a few NHL goalies, female NHL goalies.
Is that right? Really?
I don't think there are any now, though.
Do they have teeth? Any of them?
Those masks are serious now.
They are now.
Like Jason Voorhees masks.
Can you?
Speaking
the Jason
of
Voorhees mask was an upgrade from when they didn't wear them at all. Only wimps wear that crap.
Speaking of Voorhees, have you seen any of the video of this new? Since we haven't done a Johnny Ray game of the week in a long time, I've been watching some videos online of the React channel of this new Friday the 13th game.
No.
They have made an amazing looking Friday the 13th game. Now I've heard there might be some server issues with it, but they made a behind the third person perspective, so you're behind Jason and behind the camp counselors, and one person is Jason, and the rest of the team, or the people are on a team as the camp counselors, and they have to work together to try to stop Jason, who's like superhuman, right? Like he is.
Yeah, well, he's huge and strong.
Right, but he also has like superhuman abilities as well, so he can like know where the teens are.
You do not want to end up as the slutty girl or the black guy, because you're going down
or
first.
A drug user.
Yeah, down.
It's hard. It's apparently very hard to kill Jason in this as the teenagers. You have to work together in order to even have a chance to put a stop to him. You've got to like collect car batteries and keys in order to even start a car to try to get off. Like all the classic kind of horror movie tropes are worked into this game.
That sounds
and
great.
It looks really good. They finally made a good Friday the 13th game.
Why don't any of these people have a gun?
Actually, Tommy Jarvis apparently shows up at some point if you do the right thing, and he gets one shot at Jason with a shotgun. So it looks pretty fun. Anyway, more Free Talk Live tomorrow. We'll see you online in the meantime.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from the White Mountains in the Shire, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, June 25th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,606. Antiwar.com reports the Pentagon is facing a flurry of inquiries from high-ranking senators from both parties following an Associated Press story that revealed that U.S. soldiers were involved in the interrogation of detainees at sites in Yemen where torture of detainees was widespread. The AP article quoted Pentagon officials confirming that this was the case, but claiming that the U.S. soldiers weren't directly involved in the torture or even necessarily personally aware of the fact that the detainees were tortured by UAE forces ahead of their interrogation by Americans. Senators were quick to point out that doesn't make the U.S. involvement any more legal, with Senators John McCain and Jack Reed both calling the report deeply disturbing and urging Defense Secretary James Mattis to investigate the matter to provide more details. Senator Patrick Leahy noted that beyond the legal question of the Pentagon's involvement, the fact that the torturers were from the United Arab Emirates could mean that the continued provisions of U.S. support for them would violate a law forbidding funding to known human rights violators. Senator Ron Wyden said he was particularly troubled by the Pentagon's legalistic response to the incident, saying that the bar for the United States is higher than torture is okay if we don't see it.
For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase